Well, good morning. It is great to be joined for this announcement today by my colleague, Deputy Mayor Michael Thompson, who's the chair of the city's Economic and Community Development Committee and the councillor for Scarborough Centre, and by the Toronto Region Board of Trade President and CEO, Jan De Silva. We just had our first weekend in step one of the province's reopening roadmap, and Jan and I, as well as other people in my own office, we've been talking about the fact that I think people are feeling good about that. You could feel it as you went around the city, that people are feeling good that we've made progress to get that far. There was a feeling as well, beyond the mood of individual people, there was a general feeling of vibrancy around the city, including in the downtown core, where it's been hit very hard by what's gone on over the last year or so. We had thousands of stores more open than they had been before, and we had hundreds of restaurants and bars which were able to be open, having been closed for some time, able to be open for outdoor dining, and lots of people were taking advantage of that, and that, of course, meant lots of people were also back to work. I could feel the positive vibes from this step forward, from the people enjoying the patios, from people who were back at work, and of course we saw the lineups at some of the stores which showed that people are interested in going shopping again. So this is all good news for the economy of the city, but it's also good news for the mindset and the psychology of the city, which after a bad experience like this, which we're not entirely through yet, but after a bad experience like this is something that's important to start to build back up. People are excited about the reopening, and they're as determined as we all are, including those of us in government and at the Board of Trade, to continue to move forward. We need to keep the COVID-19 case counts down, and we need to keep making sure that people get their first and second doses of vaccine. I should say the Delta variants are still of concern. And that is why we have to, even beyond the vaccination, we have to continue to be mindful of social distancing, be mindful of avoiding especially indoor crowd scenes and things like that, since the Delta variant is so much more transmissible than what we've seen before. We definitely want the lockdown that is just now coming to an end to be the last lockdown. Today's announcement is about one more way that we're working together to help stop the spread of COVID-19 and keep businesses open. I'm pleased to announce a partnership today between the City of Toronto and the Toronto Region Board of Trade to provide free COVID-19 rapid screening kits to small and medium-sized businesses across the City of Toronto. This will help businesses remain vigilant as we reopen, do so safely, and stay open. We're able to do this thanks to the cooperation of the provincial and federal governments. And I've said many times during the course of the pandemic, it's always a good day when we can all work together. In this case, all three governments joined with the Board of Trade and, of course, with individual businesses across the city to keep people safe, to allow them to get back to work and to stay at work. Last month, the Ontario Ministry of Economic Development, Job Creation and Trade, in partnership with the Government of Canada and the Ontario Chamber of Commerce, launched the COVID-19 Rapid Screening Initiative for small and medium-sized businesses right across the province. The City of Toronto and the Toronto Region Board of Trade will distribute these kits to Toronto businesses with 150 or fewer employees. Participation in this voluntary initiative can help to identify asymptomatic cases of COVID-19 at the workplace and help reduce the spread of COVID-19 in those workplaces, at home, and in the community. If done right, these cases can be identified before people even enter the workplace on a given day and perhaps unknowingly spread the virus. So I encourage eligible businesses to visit bot.com/rapid screening in order to order their initial 4-week allocation of testing kits from the Toronto Board of Trade and to book a time slot for the pickup of those kits. To make it easier for eligible businesses to pick up their kits from across the city and participate in this voluntary initiative, city staff will begin distributing the screening kits to businesses with a scheduled pickup appointment at the following locations as of this Friday, June 18th. The Etobicoke Civic Centre, the North York Civic Centre, the Scarborough Civic Centre, and the Fort York Visitor Centre just to the west of the downtown core. These distribution sites will be open for scheduled pickups by appointment only from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday to Friday each week. Working with the Toronto Region Board of Trade, we'll monitor program uptake, and if required, we will bring additional distribution sites into play in time for Phase 2 of Ontario's reopening, which is presently scheduled for July the 2nd. The launch of the Toronto COVID-19 Rapid Screening Initiative for small and medium-sized businesses is just one of many ways the city is working hard with our partners, including in this case the Toronto Region Board of Trade, to help businesses reopen and recover from this pandemic. I want to particularly thank the Toronto Region Board of Trade and its CEO, Jan De Silva, and the whole team there for working with us to help stop the spread of COVID-19 in our city and helping Toronto businesses to reopen so that that will help all of us to return to a life more close to the one that we all love. The board has been working very hard with the city and with the business community, with the Financial District BIA and the Urban Land Institute on a reopening plan, which helps businesses, owners and employees alike, to get back to work safely and to do so with confidence, because confidence is a very, very important element of all of this. I am personally very determined as mayor to make sure that our city has a strong economic recovery. I believe all of the raw materials are there, all of the underlying elements are there that are needed for us to have a strong economic recovery, but there are things we're going to have to do together with business, with the Board of Trade, and with others to make sure that we put the right circumstances in place to allow that recovery to take place. Not only is that recovery important to the people who work in businesses, to the people who own and operate businesses in the City of Toronto, but also Toronto is the economic engine of Canada. And so the extent to which we can enjoy a robust recovery here in the City of Toronto will have positive benefits for all of the country. And that is something that also is going to be a very positive thing for all of us in Canada as we emerge from the pandemic. I am confident that all the success we had in attracting and growing businesses here in the City of Toronto before the pandemic will continue as we get through the reopening. People want to invest in our city. They want to grow their businesses here. They want to stay here and to be here. And my work, working with the Deputy Mayor Thompson, has been on a continuing basis to try and attract new jobs and investment to Toronto to join the ones that are already here. And that work on my own part has continued during the pandemic when we switched to, instead of taking trade missions, doing virtual visits to companies and others interested in investing in Toronto. And I should say it has met with some success. Oftentimes you can have as good a discussion about some of the hurdles and some of the benefits of being here in the City of Toronto on Zoom or on WebEx. It's not quite the same as being there, but you can certainly have a good solid discussion and make progress. And there have been results that we've seen that are beneficial to the City of Toronto. Some well-known names, as well as many others less well-known to you, but Reddit, Netflix, TikTok, and others, they have all chosen Toronto, either to locate new offices or to expand existing offices, and this is a positive for us. But we have to be ready to receive them, and we have to be ready to continue to support businesses, those that are newcomers and those that are already here, in a post-pandemic recovery. And that is a lot of the work that is being done with the Board of Trade and with others, including in our own Economic Development Department. Well, workplaces may be different following the pandemic, and people may be working remotely more so than before on a kind of a hybrid model in many cases where they're more so in the office than during the pandemic, but maybe not as much as before. I am confident that people will be back in the workplace, whether that is downtown or in another part of the city. And our job at the city, working with the Board of Trade, will be to make sure that they can be doing so in a safe manner and with the confidence that they will continue to be safe and continue to be healthy as they come back to work and come back to a more normal work life. And that is the work that we are determined to do. I believe this rapid testing program is a significant step forward. And again, I thank the Board of Trade for their initiative in helping to make this work. I thank the city staff who will help us to put these distribution outlets in place in the civic centres and elsewhere. And I thank the Government of Ontario and the Government of Canada for making these test kits available to us so that we can get people back to work and get the city functioning well again. On that note, I would like to invite my colleague, the Chair of the Economic Development Committee, Deputy Mayor Michael Thompson, to speak.
Good morning, and thank you very much, Mayor. As the Mayor has mentioned, I'm Deputy Mayor Michael Thompson, Chair of the City's Economic and Community Development Committee, and also the Councillor representing Scarborough Centre. I'm very pleased to be able to join the Mayor this morning and also the Toronto Regional Board of Trade President and CEO, Jan De Silva, and all of you virtually this morning for this very important announcement. We know that the economic impact of this pandemic is taking a toll on the livelihoods of Toronto residents and businesses. This partnership between the City of Toronto and the Toronto Regional Board of Trade to provide COVID-19 rapid screening kits to small and medium-sized businesses across the city is just one of the many ways that we are doing everything possible in full cooperation with our partners in government, business, and the not-for-profit sector to minimize that impact. Toronto's economy entered the pandemic on strong footing. Before COVID-19, we experienced 10 consecutive years of growth from 2010 to 2019. This is the solid foundation from which we will rebuild together. Toronto is a global leader in technology, finance, film, music, culture, and innovation. Along with the surrounding region, as the mayor has indicated, we are the economic engine of Canada, representing over 18% of Canada's gross domestic product. Our remarkable multi-sector strength drive innovation and economic synergy that makes Toronto a great place to succeed. It is this diversity that supports a strong economy, one that has demonstrated resiliency, stability through these changing times. And partnerships such as this one with our Toronto Regional Board of Trade will ensure that we can do so again. Let's get to work, Toronto and region. We've got this. It is now my great pleasure to introduce the President and CEO of the Toronto Regional Board of Trade, Jan De Silva. Jan, over to you.
Thank you, Mayor and Deputy Mayor. It's great to join you this morning in person. As already said, today's announcement is part of a momentum that's building. Toronto is taking its first steps to reopen, and people are excited. That includes businesses of all sizes who we at the board represent, but particularly our small business members. Over the past 15 months, they've been deeply impacted by lockdowns and restrictions. Many have racked up huge amounts of debt to stay afloat. It's important to note that there is not a one-size-fits-all solution for these businesses. For example, 85% of our workers in our downtown core, that's 550,000 workers, were able to work from home over the past 15 months, and this had an immediate and significant impact on the more than 2,500 small businesses who rely on these customers daily. In contrast, 65% of workers in the Pearson Airport area were physically required to be on site, as they were essential services. This meant that businesses were able to stay open and in some cases thrive, but there were huge implications for workers and their potential exposure to COVID-19. So many of these businesses were early adapters of rapid testing in the workplace. Through it all, one constant is that business owners understood the importance of our collective mission to curb the spread of COVID. They've looked to our public and health institutions and consistently asked, how can we help? For a long time, the answer to that was be patient. Stay closed, stay distant, wait for the case numbers to go down. Today, with vaccine rates soaring and cases on the decline, we have a new answer. It's now time to start getting ready to reopen. By using these rapid tests to screen employees, businesses can protect their staff and customers, playing an active role in safely reopening our business districts. Rapid testing is just one tool in our toolkit towards that goal. The first is to get vaccinated. Over the coming weeks, you'll hear more about the work we're doing with the city, the mayor, the deputy mayor, building owners, health experts, and large employers to ensure that as we come out of this lockdown, we do not enter another one. Our economic recovery and the vitality of our business districts rely on it. So I want to thank the city, the province, and other chambers for coming to the table on these efforts. And again, if you're a Toronto business with 150 or fewer employees, visit bot.com/rapid screening. We're here to help. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now open the floor to questions. As a reminder, it's one question, one follow-up. Please unmute yourself before asking your question. First up, we have Jennifer Pigliero from Toronto Star. Please go ahead.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I just wanted to start by asking Jan, if I could. just about more what she was speaking to about the impact on small businesses. Obviously, the smaller businesses have been hit the hardest, as you mentioned, and I'm just wondering what you're hearing from them about what they need from different levels of government in order to recover properly. This is obviously one step to get people back to work safely.
I think it's a great question, Jennifer. I think the businesses, the small businesses that we're representing, are are very appreciative of the stimulus programs that have been rapidly put in place to support them at all levels of government. The biggest thing they need right now, quite frankly, is to get their customers back. And that's what we're focused on with the rapid testing, all the encouragement to get vaccination, and the other work that we're doing to get ready for reopening with the city, with building owners, with public health officials, and with the large employers that provide those customers. Thank you.
And just to follow up for either of you, I guess, I wonder about the amount of tests that will ultimately be available. Is there an opportunity to expand the number? That the press release says thousands. I can imagine the uptake on this will be pretty good. As a consumer, I can see people saying, well, if I know that this particular restaurant patio is rapid testing their wait staff, then that's a place I would choose to patronize. So I wonder if there's a plan for if these things essentially sell out.
There is a limited number presently in the hands of the province from the federal government, but the bottom line answer to the question is yes. The number that is in place for Toronto, which is in the hundreds of thousands, is subject to expansion. And I guess one of the reasons you want to roll these things out, and as we've said, we will see how the distribution method goes, see what the level of interest is on the part of small and medium-sized businesses, and take it from there. But this would be a good problem to have if lots of companies wanted to take place in this, and we had to find a way to get some increased testing resources, but we're starting with what we have. We've got a good, solid opening distribution network on a good timetable, great partners with the Board of Trade, and we're hoping that people will take this up, and we'll also see what the results of it are as well. So it's one of those things where it's not a pilot project, but it's one of those things we'll watch very carefully to see how everything goes in terms of take-up, results, and how it all works.
Thank you. Next, we have Mark McAllister from City TV. Please go ahead.
Good morning, Mayor Tory. I just wanted to ask you, there's been obviously quite a bit of emphasis throughout the entire pandemic about Team Toronto and trying to get people out to either get tested or get their shots, and the reliance on some of the community health organizations to do so. I just wanted to get your reaction. As of this morning, there are some healthcare workers that work directly with the Black Creek Community Health Center that are on strike because of negotiations breaking down between their employer and what they are doing. And I just wanted to get your reaction to the fact that they're not being offered an increase, the one that they've been looking for, having dealt with everything they've dealt with through all this.
I should say at the outset that the work that has been done by every single frontline worker in these community health care organizations, in the hospitals, our own city staff, and volunteers in the community has been instrumental to the success we've enjoyed with respect to vaccination in particular, but before that with testing and other things. I can't involve myself, obviously, in commenting on what's been offered or not offered to any group of employees. I have great faith in the collective bargaining, system, and in the fact that sometimes, regrettably, a work stoppage becomes necessary in the view of those representing the workers. But I also am always optimistic that, there is a better way, which is to find a settlement that reflects, fairly on everybody involved, including on the ability to pay, but also on the work that is being done. So I just hope that they can see their way clear to be sitting at the table on a continuous basis, given the importance of the work those people do at this moment in our history, and that they can reach a settlement. But I can't really comment on the particulars of their negotiating positions.
That's good. Thank you.
Okay, that was the last question. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Have a great day.
Thank you.